Welcome to Retro Toy Princess. I'm Allison Troy. Today I'm coloring a black and white copy of the art by Errol McCarthy from a vintage Tila card back. I've printed it out on Neenah Vellum 8.5 by 11 paper and am using Prismacolor Premier pencils. I've always loved this art by Errol McCarthy. However, I've always thought the colors used on this give it a vaguely European-filled look. It didn't really bring out the magic of the art the way it could have, so I'm going to be presumptuous and I'm going to color it a bit more in line with the world of Eternia I lean toward. I'm even going to add some planets in the sky. Masters of the Universe started showing up on store shelves in the area where I lived during the summer of 1982. However, I paid little notice to it. I was still quite obsessed with Kenner's Star Wars Empire Strikes Back figures, the continuing magic of Strawberry Shortcake, the tail end of the Glamour Gals toy line, and at the beginning of summer I had discovered the joy that was Annie, the motion picture. As a plucky, awkward little ginger who liked to sing and create mischief, Annie was kind of a big deal to me, and Knickerbocker Toys made sure that there were plenty of things for me to choose from on the toy aisle shelves to properly celebrate my adoration of Annie. But that's a story for another day, or tomorrow. Another video will deal with that tomorrow. It's only a day away. Spoiler alert, there may eventually be some Annie content. Buckle up, Buttercup. I came home from spending the summer with my grandparents with a suitcase full of Annie dolls and outfits, some Strawberry Land miniatures I'd picked up, Star Wars Empire Strikes Back figures, like the very cool Lobot with his puffy sleeves and sensible slacks. Yes, I loved Lobot. He, C-3PO, and R2-D2 had many adventures with Bespin Gown Leia. When I got home, my brother had these big, clunky, chunky action figures in garish colors that to me frankly looked like little kid toys. On their own merit, He-Man and Man-at-Arms didn't quite capture the attention of 8-year-old me. Skeletor was kind of cool, or he was, until my mother and brother started teasing me saying Skeletor was Annie, and making Skeletor sing Annie's signature tune Tomorrow, when I'd listened to the double album of Joy that was the Annie original motion picture soundtrack. My mom could be a jerk. My brother was barely 3 years old and didn't know any better. Definitely my mom's fault. It wasn't until the very end of summer, when we were in the car for a long trip into town for our weekly day of shopping to get groceries and necessities, that Masters of the Universe piqued my interest. In the floorboard of the back seat there was one of the mini-comics and the card back for Beastman. I picked up the comic book first. Within its pages, there was a warrior woman named Tila who was holding her own against Beastman. I was intrigued. She was also wearing very cool snake armor on the back of the card. When we got home later that day, I went to my brother's small pile of mini-comics and read them all, soaking in every detail about Tila. From that point forward, every time we went to the store, I would look for Tila, as well as the very cool Cosmic Enforcer Zodak. The other 6 figures and the original Motu Wave didn't do a lot for me, but those two had me intrigued. Come Christmas, I still hadn't found Tila in any store, and her image on the box of my brother's Castle Grayskull only served to taunt me. It wouldn't be until April of 1983 when I would find Tila in a store the week of my birthday. From the beginning, she was amazing. Even more so because, unlike in the mini-comics, she was definitely a redhead like me. She quickly became my favorite action figure, even though the arrival of Princess Leia and Bouche Disguise in a few weeks would give her a solid run for her money. I was kind of disappointed when Wave 2 Masters of the Universe figures began showing up in stores in late 1983, and the Wave 1 figures had been reissued with art on the back of the card. Tila's art was cool, even though it looked like she was in Europe somewhere. I would stare at the back of the card in the store, annoyed that mine hadn't come with that art. In 1985, shortly before She-Ra and the Princess of Power toy line arrived in my life, my Tila broke. The rubber bands in her legs snapped. So my mother gave me permission to get another Tila, which took a while because it was getting harder and harder to find Wave 1 and Wave 2 figures in the stores. There were plenty of Buzz-Offs and Clawfuls everywhere, but Wave 1 and Wave 2 were barely anywhere. I lucked out when at Perry's, a local department store my grandmother preferred for her housecoats and house slippers, had Tila. But they only had Tila with brown hair, which was disappointing because I'd really wanted another red-headed Tila. But since it was the first Tila I'd seen on shelf in months, and she had the card art, she would do. I also convinced my grandmother to buy me a second Evelyn, just in case. I wasn't seeing her on toy shelves anymore either, and I was afraid my Evelyn would break like Tila had, and I'd be unable to find a replacement. Now I'm going to put some music on and let you watch the rest of the coloring. was a lot of fun to do. It also gave me the occasion to remember a bunch of all the stuff about Annie and Skeletor, which I'd pretty much forgotten until it was time to write a script for this coloring video. So if you like this video, you should hit the like and think about subscribing. There will be more videos like this and other Masters of the Universe on my channel in the weeks to come. Also, you can hit the notifications if you'd like to be alerted as to when a new video arrives. In the meantime, I'm Allison Choi. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.